Introduction. Now, before coming to today, to Rome, I want to emphasize that I'm a great admirer of Italian culture. So from my teenage years onwards, I've often come to Rome, to Venice, to Florence, and to other Italian cities. I appreciate so much the vivacity, the aesthetics, the complete charm of Italy. In my case, visits to cathedrals and art galleries are high on the agenda. I got up early this morning to go to St. John Lateran, and in Italy, I can now claim that I'm working at the same time, because in addition to being business minister, I'm also a culture minister. So this brings these two together, and I was hearing from the minister that he not only is a disc jockey and knows all about pop music, but he's also a mad sports fanatic. And also I answer on sport in the Parliament, so I'm looking forward to his next marathon. But now to today's event. Now I think we're demonstrating an alliance between Italy and the UK on very important economic concerns, especially digital. And it's good that the cooperation isn't limited to governments, because government alone, as the Minister was saying, cannot do much. Now I understand the Prime Minister Renzi, recently announced a partnership deal between Vodafone and Enel to deliver ultra-fast broadband to cover 224 of your towns across Italy. And both Italy and the UK want to create competitive digital economies that are at the forefront of innovation. And that's why I'm really delighted today to see such an intelligent gathering of businesses, entrepreneurs, and policymakers in one room, including senior officials from the European Commission. And I'm looking forward to some wide-ranging and challenging discussion, because the importance of digital has increased exponentially for several years, and the pace shows no sign of slowing. In the 1990s, there were no smartphones, there were no tablets, there were no apps. This seems frankly extraordinary to my children, let alone to my grandchildren. And the digital revolution has penetrated to the heart of society, and it can only increase in prominence day by day. So most people can communicate seamlessly to their family on the other side of the globe, using Skype, for example. They can shop 24/7. They run their day-to-day lives through the smallest of devices. And I believe that Europe is in a good position to reap the benefits offered by this digital revolution. We live, and we must remember this, in the biggest single trading bloc in the world, with 500 million people, a very rich creative culture, and a high take-up in most member states of new technology. We need to exploit this. And I suggest there are some important themes for today's discussion and today's roundtables. So first, challenges to growth in the digital economy. Second, increasing the collaboration between the public and the private sector. Third, encouraging the take-up of emerging technology. Fourth, facilitating the right skills for the future. This is incredibly important. And fifth, encouraging the right level of investment in the digital economy. And there are important roles in facilitating all of this for both government and for business. And governments and the European Union are working together and should look to lay the right foundation and the right regulatory environment to ensure Europe is in a good place for business to be competitive and successful in the digital world. But the real expertise and understanding of what is needed to reap the benefits of digitalization sits with you, sits with businesses. And we all need to regard digital today not as a niche aspect of our affairs, something for our grandchildren, but as a spinal cord running through everything, a spinal cord. And in some places this is happening. For example, I'm told Bozzoli have created the first platform that bridges the gap between brands and consumers by enabling businesses to strengthen marketing campaigns through their social media influence. Likewise, Symmetrica have become a global leader in innovative technology that identifies radiation through a range of detectors. But equally important is how almost all businesses in almost all sectors are changing. I've been telling the Competitiveness Council this since I was appointed a couple of years ago. A few years ago, digital matters impacted on most people via special companies and special products. They were quite distinct from the things that they experienced in normal life. Digital was, as it were, an add-on to normal life, an addition to normal life. This is no longer true. There are still special firms and special products which deal with what we might call digital matters. But much else, perhaps most of business life, now has a digital component. I spotted this last year when I went round a new washing machine factory in the north of England and found that the most important part of the washing machine was the computer. So sophisticated was it that, at least in theory, washing programs could be amended remotely after the machine had been built and sold and delivered. Now, Roberto Viola, the Director General of DG Connect, who I'm glad to say is with us today, said last week that your car now has more in common with a desktop computer than with the Carl Benz original. Or perhaps I should translate, as we're in Italy, and say the Fiat or the Alfa Romeo original. But I call this progress, this convergence, and it is happening everywhere, from healthcare to electronics and even to agriculture, where I started my working life. In Europe, our entrepreneurs need to take advantage of this process of transformation. We need much more of this innovation. We need to invest in supportive infrastructure, and we need the skills to support the transformation. That is why we are here today. 2017 brings an end to roaming fees, as the Minister has said. Potentially, we will have agreement on portability of content on your iPad or your phone for sport and for culture and for all the things that you like. And in July 2017, we in the UK hope to hold the presidency of the EU and to progress the digital single market and the single market agenda. I believe this is the first event of its kind between two member states. For the reasons I've stated, I'm especially glad it is between the UK and Italy, and I hope today we can facilitate an open, positive forum of discussion that helps advance our objectives. So both advancing the European Union's work on the digital single market and ensuring that business in both manufacturing and services are ready to exploit the digital age. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening.